All right, guys, today we're going over the Playback tab, and this is going to be, well, probably the second shortest tab. There are 3 pages on this, but there's nothing technical, so we're going to fly right through this. Well, we start out here, we have delete. Well, obviously, delete's to delete. So you can do everything with this date, or you can do multiple images. So I can go in here, I actually took some pictures just to have something on the memory card, and I can select pictures to delete. And then I hit menu to enter, delete these total 4 images, and you hit OK, and it does so. I'm going to cancel that. And then I'm going to go back and uncheck them because I need them for demonstrations. So that's your delete. Now, in Playback, you can actually hit the trash can button, lower right of the camera, and just delete individuals. And you can do it that way, just one at a time as you scroll through. Makes for easy culling. So, view mode. So view mode, you can do date view, which is, oh, okay, well, there's photos on this date, and then you can go through. Those question marks for where I deleted files off of the card manually through the computer, and then tried to add something back in, but it didn't work. So there's just random pictures I was taking sitting here. So that's everything on this date. And you can change the dates. You can look here, you'll see, because I have those question marks, that's something I did, that's not the camera. Because of those question marks, normally you'd see whatever the first picture is, but I did that weird thing and that happened. So you can pick any other date. Other options, image index. So you can do 9 at a time or 25 at a time. And basically you just scroll down 9 at a time. Well, technically you're scrolling down 3 at a time. They're moving up the screen, but there's 9 on a page, or you can do 25 on a page. Folder view still, which you pick your folder that has your pictures in it here. Folder view MP4, so you could go in and see, if you had videos, AVCD, AVCS, AVCS 4K. There's nothing in there because I haven't made a video on this camera. Well, at least not in the last 24 hours. And then, again, just like we did this just brings you up and automatically dumps you on these other folders. Once you're in here, you can just scroll through this and pick date and pick whatever. That's where I like to keep it on, folder still. And then I can, because once I'm in there, I can scroll down and look if there's any videos. So I recommend folder still for that. Image index, again, we just went over that. I clicked down there by accident. So 9 or 25 images at a time. My eyes are goofy, so I like 9 because they're a little bit bigger. Display rotation, it's real simple. Auto, manual, or off. If you turn this off and you take a portrait picture, I was taking, here you go, samples out of my window here. So if I do a portrait picture, it's not going to rotate. If I go into the menu and turn it to auto, now it'll automatically rotate it so you can see it. Manual and off is kind of the same thing, because there is, in the Playback, there's the rotate command that you can use to rotate the pictures. So to do it manually is to do it that way. Select Playback Media, slot 1 and slot 2. Now the Sony A9 in slot 1 supports UHS 2, which is not the hype that people are saying it is. It's not actually twice as fast. First of all, these cards, you got to be careful when you buy cards. You see, 300 or 150 MBS. That's your read speeds. You got to look up online, check your cards, see what the average actual lab tested speeds of these cards are. Because once in a while you'll see a card that actually will say on there, okay, well, 300 write, but 250 or 200 read, 300 read, but 250 write. But the actual real world testing of that ends up being like 150, 199. So research the cards you want. I will tell you from my experience and my research and everything I've done, right now, one of the actual fastest cards and most reliable cards on the market is the SanDisk Extreme Pro. They are the black cards. And I have a UHS 2 120 gigabyte, and it's wonderful. It flies. When I import, it imports in a fraction of the time. And I believe their write speed's right around 199, but I could be confused. But I know when you look at the list of the actual tests done by certain of these, like, electronics labs, I know that when you check it out, it's one of the fastest cards. In some tests, it was the fastest card. The Lexar is in there, but Lexar is always a few notches under it, it seems. So anyway, you can pick which slot. So slot 1 is your fast one if you have that fast card. The other reason you'd want to be able to pick between these, not just one's faster, I do redundant backup. What's on slot 1 is also on slot 2, but you may not be doing that. You may be shooting video to 1 and video and photos to 2, in which case you would pick which one by default you are viewing. Copy. This is a situation where if you do manual backups, or you are trying to, if you shoot in JPEG, you can literally put a spare memory card in and come in here and say copy all images with this date to card in slot 2. You can put a spare memory card in slot 2, copy it over there, and pop it in a spare body or something. You can shoot a wedding. If you shoot in JPEG, you can shoot a wedding and actually play the pictures at the reception. This is a great little feature because then you're not taking out your main memory card that you still have to shoot to. It's also great for doing manual backups. You put your spare card in, copy everything over, you have your manual backup. I bought the A9 specifically to be able to shoot redundancy to both cards. So every video, every picture I take gets written to both cards. So that I never have to worry about losing a bride's pictures. Slideshow. This is where, like I just said about copying, you can come in here, you can turn on repeat, you can set your interval seconds, and hit enter, and it's just going to start playing a slideshow of those images. So again, you really want to do this, wouldn't really want to do this in RAW, because RAW images are kind of bland, they need to be developed. So this is something, again, really would benefit you if you're shooting in JPEG. But you know what, you want to play some pictures back for a model, even though it's in RAW, you explain to them, well, they're not finished yet, they got to be developed, you're good to go. Now here's the rotate. So I hit the center button and the picture rotates. So there's your manual rotate. I don't know why that's set as a separate option in the menu. Enlarge image. So you can use the wheel to zoom in and zoom. I know it's a horrible picture in low light. I just literally, I'm sitting here in the dark and I just snapped that picture at a pretty high ISO against the window. Zoom in, zoom out. Up top you have the AF on button and the AEL buttons. AEL is the zoom out, and the AF on is your zoom in. Or like I said, you can use the wheel for that. This isn't something, why do I keep going back there? This isn't something you have to go into the menu to do. The AF on button is pre-mapped to enlarge the image. This is one of the features I love, is customizing the enlarged initial magnification. So standard magnification, if I come in here, you know why? Because I'm in that weird mode. If I come in here and do this and I hit the AF on button, it zooms in, pretty far. I actually like my zoom right about halfway like that. So if I then hit menu to exit, I can go in and hit previous magnification. If I set it to that, now every time I zoom in, it only zooms in. You see the orange square on the lower left. It'll only zoom into that point, and then I can go from there if I want to, or move it around. Enlarge initial position, focused point, or center. So center, it'll always go into the center. Where focus point is great, especially for checking eye focus. If when you take your picture, which I actually have I was shooting real estate today, I got my manual lens on here, so it's not going to work with this lens to demonstrate, but you're shooting a model and you're using eye autofocus, or you're using expandable spot small or medium, and you put it specifically somewhere on the subject. You get your autofocus, you release that shutter, and during that preview, if you zoom in, it's going to zoom in to the point that you had your autofocus set. But it has to be a point autofocus set. Like I said, whether it be one of the expandable spots or the eye autofocus, something like that, face recognition. When you have it set to this, when you hit the AF on button on the initial preview, it'll zoom in right to that focus spot because they're figuring that's where you want to look, that's where you want to check. So I leave that set to focus position as opposed to center. And again, I leave this set to previous magnification so I can basically set the magnification as well. Protect multiple images, all with this date. So basically you can come in here and again, you can click these and then hit enter. And now that locks them down so they can't be deleted until you unprotect them. And then to unprotect them, you'll just hit cancel all with this date or multiple images and go through and uncheck them. Or like I said, you can just go through and cancel all with this date. Here's the date, accessing, done. And page 3, specify printing. This is kind of a oddball setting. So this, first of all, will only work with JPEGs. All your print setting is you can tell it to put the date on it, like those old-fashioned pictures just have the weird digital date on the bottom of them. Specify printing, you're literally going to come in here and you're going to check any image that you want to print. And it's just marking them. It's making a notation on your memory card. You're not printing from your camera. None of that's happening. You're literally saying, hey, okay, these 5 images I definitely want to print. And then when you bring your card to the computer, you put it either into your reader or take it to a kiosk somewhere, they will have a little annotation on them that they're to be printed. The icon will have something different. It depends on what you're using and what you're viewing it on. But there will be some sort of a marking to say, hey, these need to be printed. And that's really all that does. I like to do everything myself and decide at the moment what I'm doing. So that's something I would never use, but certainly you're taking a bunch of pictures on a family trip and you get one and you're like, that's the shot. Hey, mark it, mark it so you don't lose it in the mix of a couple of 100 pictures or whatever. And photo capture, unable to create still images from movies with this image. Select a movie you want to create a still image of. So let's make a quick movie. One of the things that I've been disappointed in the Sony mirrorless cameras, and actually it's not just the Sony mirrorless cameras, there's plenty of cameras that don't have it as an option, is the fact that while you're recording, you just can't hit that shutter and snap a picture. So we're going to hit playback, photo capture. So here's the video, or here's the movie. I'm going to come through here. Every time I push the down on the wheel, the center button plays, and I can go back. I can leap back and forward. I can hit slow motion forward. But if I hit down on the wheel, it captures an image. So now if I go back to the play, there's the images I just captured from the video. So that's kind of cool that you're able to do that with that. But that's all that's for. Yeah, and you have to have a video on there to do it. Like I got to physically go back, get over the video, then hit menu, then do photo capture. If you could please like and subscribe. Either click notifications to get your updates from YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/batesphoto.net and get every update there. Every time I upload a video, usually within 12 hours, I'm posting the links to our Facebook page. So once again, thank you. And the next one's going to be another bit of a beefy guy. It's only 7 settings. However, it's a lot of kind of technical stuff. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.